to speak for up to 2 minutes. And the first person I'm going to call tonight is Ollie Fielding. Is Ollie here?
It'd be good if people sat down and listened.
When I have 30 seconds, am I good to go?
You want to catch my moonwalk? I've been practicing my moonwalk.
So my name is Ollie Fielding. I'm the president of the East Village Community Coalition. I'm also a resident on 7th and C. The East Village Community Coalition, or EVCC, we've been steadfast in our commitment to supporting independent local businesses. Since launching our Get Local Guide in 2006, forming the East Village Independent Merchants Association in 2015, and consistently serving as a trusted resource for entrepreneurs in our vibrant neighborhood. EVCC has worked tirelessly to champion a thriving and sustainable local business community. We've supported Wally's Barbershop on our social media channels. We've delighted to see that local entrepreneurs take over from the longtime operator of B-Side in 2021. When the accidental fire displaced the business in 2023, EVCC Director Laura Sewell made a personal contribution to the GoFundMe campaign. Our hearts go out to all Sabrina for the loss of their location, and we sincerely hope B-Side will find a new home. That said, EVCC cannot support the license application for a full OP license at 131 Avenue C and its removal from 203 Avenue B. As a resident of the immediate vicinity and a representative of the EVCC, I've seen firsthand the negative impacts of the oversaturation of full liquor licenses has on our community. It should be noted that CB3 adopted a guidance to steer prospective nightlife businesses away from these licensed locations in these areas. The SLA revoked the license of the previous operator at this location, and the last time a new operator applied here, the SLA committee's recommendation was no. The 500-foot rule hearing at state level ruled no, and the full state SLA board meeting was also a no, and all with good reason. Approving this application would undo years of work to overcome the adverse history of this address. It would disregard the immense efforts made by CB3, EVCC, and our neighbors to address the harmful legacy of this location. Most importantly, it would expose residents to even more of the same hardships they've already had to endure. We acknowledge the applicants' community spirit and we commend them for their engagement. We've met them and we want to help them, but we cannot support a license at this location.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Up next is, I'm sorry, I can't read this very well. I think it's Shoshana with an S. Start last name with an S. I can't really read it. It's, if you can come up here and verify your name. With a J or an S? Is this you?
Oh, yeah, that's
okay.
a J. I just had coffee.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. My name is Giovanna. Hi, good evening. My name is Giovanna, and I live at 118 Avenue C. I have lived at this address for 16 plus years. I'm here to speak in opposition to B-Side Bar/Tavern liquor license application at 131 Avenue C. With 12 to 13 bars currently operating on Avenue C in a stretch of 4 blocks, which makes it an average of 3 nightlife establishments per block. With hours of operation as late as 4 a.m., Royale 4 a.m., New Blue 151 4 a.m., Bobby's Night Out 4 a.m., Wayland 4 a.m., Summit 3 a.m., To Paris 2 a.m., Dingaling 4 a.m., San Loco 1 a.m., Cosmic Cafe 2 a.m., Joy Face 3 a.m., High Load 1 a.m., Accidental Bar 12, ABC Beer 2 a.m. Avenue C has turned into a destination known as the Bourbon Street of the East Village. Over the last few years, we have become a nightlife destination, but differently than the Meatpacking District, Bushwick, and Far West Chelsea, we have always been a working family neighborhood, not an industrial area where no one or very few people lived prior to nightlife developing. It is already difficult to navigate walking on the street, let alone asleep. I have been unable to have full night's sleep for a while, most nights of the week. I am getting woken up multiple times during the night with music so loud it creates a buzzing sound on the windows, and people gather outside the clubs and bars until the wee hours. This affects my daily life. I have to make a choice multiple times throughout the night to either fully wake up and file a 311 complaint, or try to meditate until I can fall asleep again and I can have a productive day at work the next day. Avenue C residents are working class families with senior living facilities and low income housing. It's very difficult to navigate the streets. Most people that I know that live off Avenue C between 6th and 10th Street don't wander the streets past 9 p.m. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Up next is Wilson Rodriguez. And just as a quick matter of information for folks who might not previously have joined us before, on items, you can come on up. On items, on specific items, we can only allow the first 4 people speaking for an item and the first 4 people speaking against. So I just wanted to clarify.
Hi everyone, my name is Wilson Rodriguez. I live in 129 Avenue C, right next to the place that they want to rent to put another bar. As we all know here, so do the community knows, how Avenue C from Houston all the way to 12th Street are flooded with our nightlife, bars, lounge. I lived almost 8 years non-stop sleeping because of the noise, the 311 calls trying to get help to try to lower down the music. Of course they showed up, the police show up. As soon as they're gone, the place is raises their music. There's a lot of loitering. The building that I live in, and the building that they want to rent from, is so old. It was built in the 1900s. It's not able to withhold the music and the loud people from outdoors. There's so much drama going out there that you can't even walk on the sidewalk without people looking at you like we are bothering them. It's not even a neighborhood anymore or a community for the families and the people who've been there the longest, like we're in their way now. And no matter what we say to them or try to get an agreement or understanding of getting help from them to lower down the music, there's no respect for anyone in the building or around the neighborhood. And that's what I really wanted to say. The building cannot hold loud music. And the people that surrounds the neighborhood drinking, having a good time. One shift leaves, the other shift comes. It's like non-stop noise and music and loud speaking of people complaining about, whatever's going on in their life.
10 more seconds.
So I really appreciate if you take consideration of what's going on in the neighborhood and the community, that hope that your guys
Thank
come
you.
understand and help us.
Thank you. Up next is Heather Dubin.
I'm Heather Dubin. I live at 129 Avenue C, and I'm urging you to vote against this item. We're living in a time where civility and facts seem to not matter. That's happening on a national level. Let's not make it local. Facts. This is an unlicensed location. The SLA revoked the previous license due to adverse history, and we are oversaturated with bars on C from 6th to 10th Streets. 130 people who live right here and will be immediately impacted by this bar every day and every weekend signed a petition in opposition to the bar. There is absolutely no public benefit to adding this license. We heard at committee from supporters that the applicants are good people. That's not the issue here. Sometimes committees and community boards need to make what may appear to be an unpopular decision in order to do the right thing for a community that's worked with them for all these years. Until the license was removed, residents at 129, 131 were tormented by Babel Jolie for over a decade. There were numerous violations, DOB, police activity, large crowds, and noise. A veteran on the second floor had to move out because he couldn't sleep and had flashbacks. My walls vibrated on the 4th floor. Another bar tried to come in. The state SLA chair denied it in 2019 and said there should never be a bar there again. Built in 1900, our building wasn't designed for nightlife. There are insulation and structural issues. It cannot be soundproof. We also hear noise from current bars all over C. Sound travels diagonally and upward between our buildings. Two Perry's, 127 Avenue C applied as a cafe restaurant, got full liquor during the pandemic, and then operated as a bar. They asked the SLA for 4 a.m. and DJs last year and were denied because of the oversaturation of bars. Adding another bar 2 doors down contradicts the SLA committee's intent. Last Friday night, a bouncer had to clear the sidewalk in front of a bar for me. I'm 5'9", and I couldn't get by. Huge groups, like 25 people, regularly come to see, block sidewalks, cause traffic, and make lots of noise. The crowds are already here. Adding another bar would be insane. This is a recognized oversaturated area, and CB3 guidance suggests people not apply to these neighborhoods.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Up next is Amanda Ashcraft.
Okay. Hi everyone, good evening. My name is Reverend Amanda. My husband and I, along with our 4 children, are longtime residents. I'm a devoted local organizer and am the justice minister at Middle Collegiate Church. I share this with you because I know and care something about community, specifically this community. And I know without a doubt that allowing B-Side, Sabina and Wally, a born and raised resident of the Lower East Side, to rebuild their business here would bring numerous communal benefits, financially, culturally, mentally, and socially. I also know something about what it means to rebuild after a fire. After Middle Church burned in 2020, the most disheartening moments were when we were pushed back by regulations that didn't take our specific situation into account. B-Side suffered a fire. That's the only reason we are here, and they finally see an opportunity to rebuild. Many board members proposed they would vote yes if their requests were at any other location. Friends, need I remind you that the rent for the now vacant dog cafe 2 avenues over is $30K a month? They have chosen this location because this is the one they can afford, and this is the one where they have the loyal base that will give them the best opportunity to rebuild. Of course, we all need to be good neighbors and cooperate around noise and crime. And I can tell you that they are those kind of neighbors. Under their leadership, B-Side was more than a bar. It was a community center. It held numerous PTA fundraisers, welcomed all kinds of collaborations and meetings. It's the first place I took my 6-week-old. As we approach a new national administration, we are ripe with anxiety and uncertainty, and we need such places to organize, unwind, and build. And we need them led by residents committed to this neighborhood's thriving and surviving. I ask you not to imagine scenarios that are not before you tonight. They have told us the location they can afford and that they desire. When you vote, remember that this community has entrusted you to champion the community. If our people can't have small businesses here, what does that say about who we've become? I am confident we can figure this out together, but a no vote doesn't even give the community that chance and possibility. You are voting on much more than a license. You are voting for community, and I hope you'll vote yes. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Everyone could please refrain from clapping, like jazz hands we prefer. We need to keep this the meeting going along, and it disturbs some of the pacing of the meeting, and we need to be out here by 9. So the next person is Rosa Goldstein.
Thank you. I'll let you know when you have 30 seconds. Hello, I'm Rosa Goldstein. I live on 6th Street. I'm a little nervous. I'm not used to speaking publicly. I am a community garden member on 8th Street at DeColores Community Yard. We encourage a yes vote to Sabina and Wally to open this business as a member of the community. It would provide a lot of security and safety, also along with when you are in the community gardens all day, it is very nice to have facilities close by that you can use. And there is not going to be anything like the previous business that was there. I go on the 3rd decade of living in the East Village, and I was there during the time, and Sabina and Wally are not the kind of people who would encourage anything like that behavior. They would, again, just have a lot of safety in the neighborhood and security for everyone around. Thank you.
Up next is Joel Rodriguez. You want to?
Jihad to go first, please.
Sure. Why not?
Thank you.
Jihad, is Jihad here?
Thank you.
Dear members of the Community Board, I'm here to voice my support for B-Side relocating to 131 Avenue C. My family and I have been residents of Alphabet City for just under 10 years. We've always lived on the 4-block area around Avenue C where the proposed location is. I met Wally and Sabina when I became a patron of Avenue C at B-Side on Avenue B, right around when they took over as owners. Wally and Sabina brought new life to B-Side. Since then, one thing has been clear. This is a welcoming, safe, and enriching space that has provided our neighbors with a living room to call home. What makes Wally, Sabina, and B-Side stand out from other bars is their ability to build up and maintain an establishment that has real purpose, and that purpose is to bring people together. Some of my favorite memories from this bar are when the neighborhood teachers would come by for happy hour, watching Jeopardy, or playing in Wally's homegrown pool league. All these events brought together a diverse group of people, including artists, police officers, lawyers, and service folks. Their staff is unmatched and have always been respectful, professional, and involved. As a neighbor to the old B-Side, I can attest to their safe, diverse, and respectful crowd and atmosphere. I never once had a complaint, and believe me, I'd have no problem letting them know if I did. The concerns that we've heard loud and clear are around the neighborhood bars and their lack of proper respect for the neighborhood, causing anguish amongst the residents of this block radius. B-Side is the perfect antidote for this because Wally and Sabina have respect for the community, these streets, and will accommodate and be open to feedback from it. These are the people you want to run this place and turn it back around. I have full confidence in Wally and Sabina that continue to be pillars of our community. Thank you for this opportunity to speak with you and share my support for B-Side's application, and a +1 to Reverend's comments.
Thank you. All right, thank you.
Folks can please refrain from clapping. Next is Joel Rodriguez. After that is Jeannie Chin.
Good evening. By now, I'm sure the board's aware of who we are, but if not, I'd like to give a small introduction to who stands before you today. I'm here to speak on behalf of Sabina Brunetti and myself, Joel Rodriguez. We're New York City children, born in the 80s to immigrant parents from both Italy and the Dominican Republic, whose families are rooted here in Brooklyn and the Lower East Side since the 1960s. First generation Americans. Born in 1987 and raised on the corner of Broome Street and Ridge, I've seen this neighborhood become many things, despite the beneficial or adverse results. It has afforded me the kinds of culture and experiences that those who come to live here have dreamt of. I'd like to acknowledge and validate those who are opposed to B-Side relocating to 131 Avenue C. We hear you, and we understand your feelings and concerns. We've always been respectful to our neighbors, and that remains our goal today. Hopefully that's considered by this board, so that we can breathe new life into this long-standing barren storefront. And we've made significant concessions with our new stipulated hours. It should be noted that B-Side is a 20-year-old institution that was facing closure in 2020. And with our acquisition, we fought to save it through the pandemic. We were approved twice by this community board. After passing extensive background checks at the SLA, every step of the way we followed the law and we executed every phase of reopening, which included crowd control and early closures. We're reputable operators whom are familiar with the neighborhood and whose patrons are the neighbors. Every decision that we made during the operation of B-Side, we had the East Village and our neighbors at heart. We poured everything into that space. It's a position of privilege for some to say, just find another space. I hope that no one experiences what it's like to lose everything to a disaster and is still reduced to climbing out of a hole. So we're doubling down the fight because the price and the details of this particular space would give us a real shot at recovery. So we pose to this community board, with all things considered, one final question. Should the governance and leadership of our community be led by fear and trauma, or by progress, resilience, and those who are optimistic?
Thank you, Wally, I appreciate you.
Lastly, I'd like to share what we're trying to do,
Okay.
and we appreciate your time, and thank you.
We're done, yeah.
Can I just ask the council members? To the who? To the speakers?
You can leave them here if folks want to come get it at the end of the table, that's fine.
I'd also like to
Moving on, we have
acknowledge
Jeannie
our-
Chin is the next person. Oh, sorry, please keep anything happening. The meeting to order, thank you.
I'm from the Open Park Road Coalition. Opening Park Road in Chinatown saves lives. Park Road was a major two-way street. It can accommodate pedestrians, MTA buses. I'm sorry. It can accommodate pedestrians, MTA buses, emergency service vehicles, cars, and bike lanes. A closed park row has become a massive commuter parking lot with parallel and perpendicular parking for NYPD and Department of Corrections vehicles. This slows emergency access when there are many narrow streets, old buildings, and tenements in Chinatown. The two streets adjoining Park Row have become congested, polluted, impenetrable, single lanes in each direction during rush hours, even on weekends. Every extra minute can mean the difference between life or death. Within 2 blocks of Park Row lockdowns, 24 businesses shut down. Currently, Chinatown has one of the highest storefront vacancy rates in the city at 20%. Opening Park Row saves lives and businesses. Thank you.
Thank you. Up next is Anna Goldstein. After Anna will be Ryan.
Hi, my name is Anna Goldstein of the Open Park Road Coalition. I'd like to read President Tony Chu's testimony of the Chinese Consolidated Benevolent Association. On behalf of Chinese Consolidated Benevolent Association and its 60 organizations, we are very concerned about the dangerous bus island built on fast track without property community input and against the warnings of the community. Already, one senior has been hurt. However, it is clear that more will be hurt by this dangerous construction. We urge the city to remove the island immediately so riders can once again board safely from the sidewalk. May I read my own testimony?
Yes, you have 1 minute.
Okay. The new Park Row bus island is unsafe. The curb height is almost 11 inches on the bike path side, the side that the passengers must go onto and that the bus does not need to accommodate the bus ramp. Several people have already tripped getting onto that bus island. One serious incident occurred when the M103 bus was about to arrive, and my friend, who was over 80, tripped while she was going onto the bus island. She had injuries on both knees and has pain due to the injury. She had to get x-rays because she was concerned about a fracture. She is afraid now and she still has pain. Crossing two-way bike lanes is dangerous for those with mobility issues due to the speed of the bicycles. It is urgent for this bus island that the DOT said is temporary be removed and the former sidewalk stop be restored before there are more serious injuries. The bus island is unsafe. Restore the bus stop to the sidewalk so that people can board safely. Thank you.
Thank you. Up next is Ryan, and then after that, Valentina.
Hi, I'm Ryan Dillon from Fab NYC, and I just want to share that we have a call right now for our 2025 Lower East Side Young Artists of Color Fellowship. So this is open to young artists ages 18 to 26. They meet weekly from February to April. There's a $500 stipend for each fellow. They're meeting not only to develop a peer group of support for their practice, but also to be introduced to artists of color who are established in the field, to coach them, mentor them, as well as professional presenters around New York City. We prioritize Lower East Side residents and NYCHA residents, and the application is coming up on Monday, December 9th. It's on our website at www.fabnyc.org, but I also have flyers with QR codes if anyone would like.
Thank you. Valentina?
Hi, my name is Valentina Jones, and I'm here on behalf of the Lower East Side Power Partnership. What I'm going to discuss is the City of Yes, their section on converting non-residential buildings to housing. This is not on the agenda for tonight, but it is on, my understanding is City Council is going to vote on December 5th. And our issue is that, oh, wait a minute, let me put on my glasses. Our issue is that what we read is that we didn't see anything about non-residential buildings that convert to housing having any mandate for any affordable units. So they can convert and have no affordable units. So our issue is that there should be some kind of requirement for a portion of the housing to be affordable. We also advocate that non-residential buildings that convert to housing include affordability scales that would make this housing affordable for nurses, teachers, human service workers, etc., that work in that area. So just think about it. What I've seen since then, since we wrote this letter on November 4th, what I've seen since then is something stating something about parking, but nothing about affordable housing. My understanding, no mandate for affordable housing for buildings that convert from commercial to housing. So think about that and think about what that means for the city of New York. We are talking serious issue here when they can convert these buildings and not have any affordable housing. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. We'll move on. Sorry, folks, can refrain once again from clapping. We'll move on to elected official reports. First off is Robin Forst. Robin, thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I am really here just to say hello and happy Thanksgiving. In terms of a report, you'll get a fuller report in December. You all know, I think, the big news this week was the swearing in of our newest police commissioner, Jessica Tisch, and we are looking forward to a long and successful term for her. I'm happy to take any questions, otherwise I'll see you next month. Andrew, was that quick enough?
Great. Any questions from board members? Okay. Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone from Public Advocate Jemani Williams' office here? Controller Brad Lander. VP Mark Levine.
Hello everyone, happy Thanksgiving. So I only have a few important dates that I want to share with everybody. The first one is our student fellowship, Student Leaders Fellowship Program. This is the second year in a row. We are opening this program, this leadership program, to high school juniors and seniors to develop leadership skills, learn about New York City government, and make a difference in your community. So the deadline is December 1st. It's very soon. If you wanna take a look and also interested in applying, please go to our website. The next one is our office partnered with MAT, the Metropolitan Museum of Art, and would like to invite all the veterans to an event called Vets at the MAT on Wednesday, December 4th. This is from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. So if you are interested, you can also just visit our website or RSVP through the email events@manhattanbp.nyc.gov. The next one is we are very excited to announce that there will be Get Involved in Local Government webinar on Thursday, December 5th at 5 p.m. You will hear from local leaders who are doing this important work to shape their communities. So Manhattan Borough President's Office works every day with these boards and committees and strongly believes that they will play a vital role in how we respond to challenges before us today and in the future. So if you are interested, please also go to our website. And the next one, I think everybody's interested, is our MPPO capital funding. So, our office invites you to attend virtual information sessions on the application process for capital funding in fiscal year 2026. So the public school information session will be on Tuesday, December 10th at 5 p.m. And nonprofits and city agencies information session will be on Thursday, December 12th at 2 p.m. So please also go to our website for more information. That'll be all. Thank you.
Any questions from board members? I have a very quick question for you on behalf of particularly new board members. If I know you have a lot of trainings available recently,
Yes.
or can folks view that online easily? Is there any more information you can give us?
Yes, we've already had like 3 of our trainings available on our website. So if you're interested, you can just shoot me an email. I'll share you with the links. My email is ywang@manhattanbb.nyc.gov.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving on. Is there anyone from DA Alvin Bragg's office here today?
Hi, I'm Sherman Goldblum. I'm from District Attorney Alan Bragg's office. I'm here with a few announcements. On November 16th, we had a great event at Grant Street, the Anti-Gun Violence Youth Summit. There were around between 80 and 100 youth. They did resume workshops, financial literacy, de-escalation. They got to see call presentations. So shout out to Grant Street and all the kids who came and for everyone who did outreach. It was really a great event. We'd also like to go over we're doing trespass notice trainings with precincts by request. We know that shoplifting and retail theft continue to be a concern throughout the borough. And in these neighborhoods, and in neighborhoods specifically, we've recently been enhancing our coordination with both businesses and NYPD on best practices for trespass notices, ensuring successful prosecution for meaningful case outcomes. We've led a series of trainings with leadership from our office to that end. We're collaborating with the 9th Precinct for this as well. For context, when the cases are at larceny or under $1,000, we can, if there are multiple, the cases can be aggregated. So there are more ways to mandate programming when cases are relevant to mental health or drug use. A couple indictments to announce. At the end of October, our office announced the indictment of an individual for the stabbing at the First Avenue L train subway station in the East Village on September 2024. And then also earlier this month, our office announced the indictment of a home health aide for allegedly stealing $24,000 and attempting to steal an additional $54,000 from 2 older homebound adults in her care. Our office, this is something that can happen, and we like to help preventing this, so our office gives trainings. Our ADAs will come to different communities and give presentations on this to make sure that people are aware. And also on November 8th, our office announced the indictment for threatening of an individual for threatening and harassing and making anti-Semitic remarks towards a Jewish man on the subway. This was slightly out of CB3, but we thought this would be a case for people to be aware of. Those are all my announcements for today. Actually, wait, sorry. 2 more programs. We're offering a high school internship program over the summer. There are flyers outside. It includes workshops, mock trial coaching, and networking for different resources. And we're also offering a gun violence prevention fellowship. Ages 18 to 25 must have a high school diploma or GED. And then for other details, there are also flyers for that on the table outside.
Questions from board members? I see Richard and then Campbell.
Can you send an update on actions that your shop office is taking against illegal marijuana shops?
That is mostly being handled by the sheriff's office at this point. And so I believe that they would have a better update than the DA's office.
Same question.
Same answer.
All right, thank you.
No worries.
Any other
Appreciate you.
questions? Okay, well, thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
We'll move on as a representative from Congressmember Goldman's office here. Assemblymember Grace Lee. Assemblymember Deborah Blake. Is here. Lily. Assemblymember Harvey Epstein. Any representative here today? I don't think I see anyone. Okay, we might be getting through this quick today. State Senator Brian Kavanaugh.
Supposed to be here in person.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Chris Marte.
Good evening, CP3. Happy Thanksgiving. Just a few updates from our office. So last month, Councilmember Marte introduced legislation Intro 1096 to protect the health care of New York City retirees. So currently, Mayor Adams is trying to force hundreds of thousands of New York City retirees who poured their heart and soul into our city off of traditional Medicare and onto a Medicare Advantage plan, which will make healthcare more expensive and restrictive for these seniors. Our bill would enshrine in law retirees' right to traditional Medicare, so no mayoral administration can take away their health care. This month, the City Council also passed the FAIR Act, banning landlords from charging tenants broker fees. Councilmember Marte was proud to be one of the earliest co-sponsors of this bill that will make housing more affordable, and we thank Councilmember Chiosei for his work to get this bill passed. During a stated meeting last month as well, Councilmember Chris Marte also introduced legislation to require grocery stores to accept OTC cards, which is an important benefit for the many seniors that live in CB3, allowing them to use their OTC benefits for healthy food in grocery stores. We were also happy in other events to partner during these last few weeks with UA3 and Vision Urbana for some giveaways, some turkey giveaways, which was nice. Slightly outside of CB3, but the council member continues to advocate for the community regarding the closure of the Mount Sinai Beth Israel Hospital. And in other news, East Broadway will be repaved this week, so long as there is no rain. I know that's been a concerning issue for many. And finally, just some land use updates. So for City of Yes, last week, City of Yes for Housing Opportunity passed at the subcommittee and committee levels and is expected to be put to a full vote at the next full council meeting in early December. The council member continues to advocate for changes in commitments that will prioritize construction and preservation of truly affordable housing. We have seen some movement on our ask around NYCHA property, average unit sizes, and lot coverage requirements, and funding commitments for affordable housing and tenant engagement. However, the council member still has serious concerns around the lack of mandated affordable housing and potential for exacerbating speculation and displacement downtown and citywide.
Any questions from board members? Oh, Valentina, yeah.
Yeah, so the hospital is as of yet not closed, and there's still ongoing litigation around it. However, the council member attended a rally that took place earlier, and there was a hearing that he was also a part of, so we continue to advocate for.
He did say that in terms of City of Yes, he's advocating for some affordability in that whole conversion of commercial to housing.
That's right.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, thank you. Assemblymember Epstein, you'd like to do a 2-minute report? Got a lot of business to get through tonight.
How about I try 1 minute? Good evening, everyone. For folks who don't know me, my name is Harvey Epstein. I'm the State Assembly member in the 74th District. First, I want to wish everyone a happy holidays. Hope people enjoy the holidays, whatever you're doing, and whether how you celebrate or how you don't. sure, obviously everyone's different choices. Just this week we gave out almost 3,000 meals yesterday to folks in the neighborhood. Really want to thank Lower East Side Center, all our partners. We were able to do that. Amazing work with all our elected officials. It's really exciting. Doing a holiday party on December 5th. If you want to go to the Girls Club, it's in our newsletter. We love everyone to come. Chanel's got flyers in her hand if people want to have those. It's a free holiday party just to celebrate the end of the year. A lot of good and a lot of shit happened this year. A lot of shit happened this year. But we also need to celebrate the good things that are happening in our community. For folks who are seniors, we're doing an Omni Fare, reduced fare MetroCard event. We're doing it at Stein Senior Center on 23rd Street on the 4th. We were lucky the last couple of weeks to announce a lot of awards. We were able to announce that we gave $3 million to the Boys Club, where the Joyce Theater is, to do renovations in that space. And in Tompkins Square Park, we gave money to rehab the dog run. And a lot of things are going on around the Charis Community Center. People know we had our first public meeting. There could be a couple more public meetings to figure out how we want to make sure that space is available for us. It's going to take a lot of money and a lot of time, but it's really important that we get that space back to our neighborhood. The community fridge that was in front of Trinity Church is now moved to 6th Street Community Center, so folks who people who need access to free food that is available. And we spent a lot of time with the Reese tenants talking about what's going on with the construction on 10th Street in the cul-de-sac. And there's an effort to kind of expedite the repairs there, talking about the soil issues that are going on, and also their RAD PAC proposed conversion that election's happening probably in March. If people have questions, if the chair allows it. If not, I want to again wish everyone a happy holidays, and you can read my report or reach out for any questions. And Chanel's always here and available.
Thank you. I see one question from Richard.
Congestion pricing.
Any comment on the implementation that we put through?
So people know that the governor announced 2 weeks ago the congestion pricing changed the prices from 15 and $3.75 on peak off peak to $9 and a little over $2 for the off peak price. The flip date is January 5th. There's a lawsuit pending that may or may not grant a stay. I believe if there's no stay granted, the congestion pricing will be starting on January 5th. If there is a stay, who knows what's going to happen on the federal level. There's been a lot of conversations about congestion pricing down here. People know that I publicly said I support congestion pricing, but I believe in a residential exemption. I've been pushing that. When we got in the legislation was 60,000 and below. We wanted a lot more, but the governor at the time, Cuomo, did not support a residential exemption. We'll still keep fighting for it. I know this is something that matters for people who live in the district, who don't want to have to pay to drive home. Who knows what's going to happen on the litigation? The stay is granted. My expectation is that the federal government will revoke the approvals that they needed, and then congestion pricing won't happen. If the stay isn't granted, that it might actually go forward.
Trevor?
Good question on the follow-up to that. One of the other concerns for residents who live in the area and part of the lawsuit is mitigation. Bronx and other areas receive mitigations in terms of funding. There's been no word of comment on mitigation for our side when we get here.
So people know, and they looked at the plan, there was a concern around Houston Street, the turnaround on Houston Street, and the potential increase in pollution from 10th Street down to Houston. And so we met with the MTA, Assemblymember Lee and I, and talked about some mitigation measures, and they decided that 10th Street would no longer be a turnaround for congestion pricing, and the new modeling reduced that level of pollution. The two of us went and asked for additional mitigation measures. We are still waiting from the MTA to give us exactly what those mitigation measures are. They said they would put air monitoring along the FDR to kind of monitor the air, but that's not mitigation, just observing. So we've asked for additional mitigation, and her and I are not going to give up until we get additional mitigation if it does go forward.
Well, just to follow up, just to make sure that we continue that, because the traffic will not decrease from 10th Street down to the bridge, it actually will increase.
Yeah, and that's the modeling we've talked to them about, and we met with the MTA and told them that, and I think those are still concerns that we have, especially, we live in this neighborhood, and so we don't want increased traffic. This idea where congestion pricing was to reduce congestion and to reduce air pollutants, and if in their own modeling, they showed that it was going to increase, and that's a problem for our community, and we keep talking about it, and I'm happy to keep fighting for this issue because it's something that I've been public about for a long time.
What can we do to help support having mitigation?
Yeah, the board wants to, I know in the past the board has written resolutions around this issue. I know there's some, if there were updated resolutions that we can have, that we can share with the MTA, that's always gonna be helpful. I know, I think that I see my senators here as well. I'm sure he'd be happy to have whatever backup that we could have to ensure that we have enough ammunition to go to Albany and talk to the MTA. They're coming to us right now for, I met with Janice Lieber about their new capital plan. They want a lot of money from Albany. And so in exchange for getting a lot of money from Albany, we need to push on the mitigation. People know their new capital budget, $68 billion. It's not gonna, they don't have that money available. They're not gonna be able to borrow enough based on their revenue. So they need from us, so we need from them, and a part of what we're gonna hopefully get from them is a lot more mitigation.
Catherine, and then we'll move on after that.
The board does have a resolution, and we did call for some mitigation in that area. And I've read their environmental assessment. They have done nothing for us. In fact, they've even taken the Lower East Side out of the environmental justice areas that they were looking at to put some kind of mitigation in. And the only mitigation they talked about was that camera to prevent turnarounds at Houston, and that's not there either. But it would be really great if we could get, something. I mean, we don't need an asthma center, hopefully, but something to cut down on the increased rates. And so far, they've done nothing, and they haven't even acknowledged it this last time.
So, just so you know, the meetings we've had with them, they acknowledged that the issues, and that's when they agreed to on the turnaround issue, and then they agreed to the air monitor. We asked for additional mitigation measures, and they had not given us those. And then when I met with them, I said, when you're coming to us for this capital budget, we need additional mitigation. So we're going to push, because we will have leverage this year in Albany because they need money from us, and we're going to push for additional mitigation.
What kind of air monitors?
So they're doing air monitors on 10th Street, 6th Street, and Houston Street.
What are they monitoring? What?
Oh, at the level of.
Is it just the antennas or 2.5, or is it also other things in the air? Because our air is very bad anyway.
I'm going to have to go back and look at my notes because it was probably 6 months ago when we had that meeting about the air monitoring. But you can call me and we can talk offline. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Happy holidays, everyone.
All right. State Senator Brian Kavanaugh, you want to come up and give a quick report? Yeah, I was like, oh.
Pre-Thanksgiving injury averted. Hi, thanks. Again, State Senator Brian Kavanaugh. I'm representing all of the area of CB3. First of all, just update, probably most of you heard there was an election earlier in the month, and I'm happy to report that all of our local elected officials, including Harvey and myself and Dan Goldman and Grace Lee, were all returned to office. At the national level, thank you. That was Harvey led that class. He's apparently happy about this news, but it's nice. Obviously, nationally, the story is different. This is not a partisan space, but I think it's fair to say that we have an administration coming in Washington that has expressed commitments to a number of things that could be, could make matters difficult for New Yorkers, and in some cases, kind of challenge some of our basic values. Just to say, we are reviewing various laws to see if there might be ways that we can strengthen laws in preparation for that, or shortly after we begin session. There has been talk about going back to Albany, like in December, to pass some laws in advance. I'm always available to go back and pass laws, but it doesn't seem like it's necessary to do in December. We'll be back in session on January 8th. But we are reviewing lots of concerns, and some of the concerns may be budgetary, which there are various things that the incoming administration has talked about doing that could make things difficult here, and obviously that'll be something we'll have to play out in the state budget, which is due at the end of March. But just to say, we are focused on it. I'm concerned. I know there are probably a lot of opponents from, but also concerned about the implications of that. On a lighter note, we've been spending a lot of time at various events around Thanksgiving. There are a lot of opportunities this time of year to volunteer, to donate. Harvey and I have seen each other a lot of turkey drives and coat drives and this sort of things. But just to remember that people have, there's still a lot of food insecurity in our communities. The holidays, really, any time of year is a good time to do that, but in particular, it's a good opportunity to get out. And there are a lot of volunteer opportunities in our offices can connect you with as well. We've been doing one of those. We also had a flu shot and COVID booster event with the Ryan Nina Center last week. I got boosted and got the shot. And again, remind you that with flu season coming around, it's very important especially for older people, but really most of us should be getting a flu shot and should continue to keep our COVID vaccinations up to date. We are at the time of year when legislation that was passed earlier in the session either gets signed by the governor or doesn't, and there are a couple of bills of local interest. In the Senate and the Assembly, we got together and passed a bill that is intended to strengthen the process by which hospital downsizing and closing is overseen by the state health department. I've carried a bill for a very long time that was originally inspired by the Long Island College Hospital closing, but kind of working with our health chair, Gustavo Rivera, we put together kind of a consensus bill that again is intended to strengthen that, and formally require earlier notice, more community engagement, and more informal information to be provided by the health department before decisions are made. That is still pending. The governor has not notified us whether she plans to sign it or veto it, and that has to happen one way or the other by the end of the month. Similarly, there's a bill that was inspired by local events, sometimes called the Rivington Act, which is similarly, Assembly Epstein carries this. Assembly side of that, and that is also pending, and it is intended to, again, ensure a strengthened process for the oversight of closures of nursing homes. So we're still working to, get signatures on those. Looking ahead, just more generally, we had a pretty big year in terms of housing policy. We passed a bunch of laws. I'll wrap up. Okay, I'm getting the vote. So just to say, I guess maybe the next month we'll get more updates on upcoming sessions. I'll stop there. Questions, comments?
I don't mean to interrupt, we just have a
No, that's
long
good.
agenda.
We like a packed agenda.
Any questions for the senator? I'll go with Catherine and then Susie.
Subway accessibility, what's going on with Lansing and Essex? Any movement, anything at all?
Yeah, so I let Harvey handle the other end of the congestion pricing conversation, but just to say, the purpose of congestion pricing, one of them is to provide a lot of capital to fund critical projects. I think we are all committed to making sure that the Lansing and Essex, which was in the 2020 to 2024 capital plan, remains a top, which it should be noted there's only a month left of 2024, but at least calendar-wise, we are committed to making sure that project moves as rapidly as possible, given that there's a bit of complexity around the developer, of the building, and all. But we are very, very focused on that. All of my colleagues who represent that site, and we do hope to have a positive outcome. And again, congestion pricing was necessary to get that. The MTA maintained that the congestion pricing money was necessary in order to move that forward. Whether that's true or not, the congestion pricing money looks like it's coming in. We will push to get that and hope to have some good news on that soon, along with lots of other improvements for our community.
So speaking of mitigations and speaking of Rivington, we're all aware that we've never gotten any mitigation, any nursing home or anything we were supposed to get from Rivington House. We have been talking to the Attorney General's office. Nothing is happening.
Yeah, there is supposed to be there was a proposal in order to mitigate the closure of Rivington, and there's some litigation and some frankly bad behavior around that closure. One of the solutions was supposed to be that it was intended to be a new nursing home facility. We are also following up, and I think my staff has had some conversations with you. It was a settlement. The Attorney General was not. I don't have a good answer, but we should continue to push on that. And I'll maybe have a better answer when you no doubt remember to ask me about that again at next meeting.
I will.
Appreciate it.
Valentina?
In terms of congestion pricing, do I have this straight, that you want us to write something, because below 10th Street, because the FDR is free, they acknowledge that below 10th Street, they expect that to be congested. And then, one of the other issues that the residents here have is the fact that people here feel that all residents should be exempted because they are driving home. Another issue is that what they're calling a business zone from 14th Street to 59th Street or 60th Street, east of 2nd Avenue, you have a good 5 or so hospitals. And one of the big issues, I think, is the fact that Bellevue is one of the hospitals in that district. And Bellevue, in terms of their emergency services, Bellevue has an OR on the first floor right there. Bellevue has an emergency services, which is basically an ICU right there on the first floor. Bellevue is considered, I think, some kind of trauma center or whatever. But I know in terms of emergency services, Bellevue has one of the best, most efficient emergency services in the city, if not the nation. At one point when they were doing counts, Bellevue was one of them. So is it that you want us to respond to this again? Because, I just think that this whole congestion pricing and not calling that a hospital zone is not fair to the people that need those services. And I think I was at something recently where somebody brought up the fact that in order for them to get to Sloan Kettering to get services for cancer, that they would have to pay. And I'm like, you know what? A lot of times, cancer treatment can be very nauseating, can be very much where people have a variety of reactions to the medication. And so I would think that people should be able to go and get cancer treatment, and if somebody wants to drive them home, not be charged to drive home from cancer treatment. So are you saying, because I thought that's what Harvey was saying, is that you want us to write about these things again in order to support and encourage you to ask for this in terms of congestion pricing? Because I read just like you read the fact that what they're looking for was money.
I think we got it. I think we got it. I first of all, I want to say, I thought for a second you were mixing up me up with Harvey, and I did want to play Harvey on Saturday Night Live, but they didn't let me. They let that professional comedian guy do it. But on a serious point, so congestion pricing, we did two community forums in the district, including with the community boards, so people would be able to educate themselves, express their opinions. I mean, congestion pricing, again, unless litigation stops, it is very likely to become a reality on January 5th after many years of negotiation. There are very few people that are happy with all of the elements of it. I do want to be real with, I am not suggesting that everybody should relitigate every, like, formally pass a resolution reiterating things that you've hated about congestion pricing in the past. I think a lot of that, MTA got tens of thousands of comments, many of them negative about the plan, and they're moving forward. As Bobby noted, they're moving forward at a lower price. I do agree with you that there should have been some exemption for people seeking critical medical care, and I expressed that, and that is not part of the plan. I also think that there may be some opportunity to talk about the way that discounts work, because there are some peculiarities about that, and I think in particular this provision that provides a tax credit, a refundable tax credit, rather than a discount for certain people with low income in the district, and I don't think that makes sense, and I've expressed that. What Harvey was talking about was particularly the question of whether there's going to be mitigation for the stretch of the FDR drive where congestion would go up. Basically all of the models that the MTA put forth said there would be more congestion on a certain stretch of the FDR. If you live near the FDR in particular, you should be concerned about that. The MTA did respond that the overall congestion in that area is likely to go down. I mean, this is a plan that's about having 100,000 fewer cars come into Manhattan every day. We've had a lot of concern in this community about congestion of people on Grand Street and other streets trying to get onto the Williamsburg Bridge. It is likely that this will reduce congestion. This will have a beneficial effect in terms of congestion in some parts of our community. But Harvey and I and others did express that there ought to be some mitigation for the increased congestion in that particular area, which the MTA acknowledged as a result from the plan. If you want to continue that fight, I am up for that, and I think having the community board formally, I agree with Harvey that having the community board formally express that would be useful. For what it's worth, this was, the governor suspended it on very short notice in June, 2 days before the end of our legislative session. It came back very quickly, and they decided to get the process moving very rapidly and announced they have a new arrangement. Like anything complicated, I don't think the terms are permanent. I think this will evolve over time, and there may be opportunities to strengthen it. But I don't want to give anybody false, we're not likely to just radically change the plan in the next few months. In some cases, it would require legislation to change the plan. And again, some people hate congestion pricing and other people love it. And it's going to have benefits in terms of air quality. It's going to have benefits in terms of revenue for the MTA. It also is going to have the downside is people have to pay, fares that they don't think are fair. But we'll keep working on those issues. But I think Harvey was suggesting that particularly the mitigation might be something that's timely.
All right.
I would suggest the MTA letter, but you and I we can talk about that. And you know how to find me in other means as well.
All right. I'll keep the agenda moving. Thank you, Senator.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to a roll call and approval of last month's minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That always happens to me at the end. I'm sorry. Julio from Carolina Rivera's office. Yes.
Hi, everyone. No worries.
Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving to all who are going to celebrate. I hope you guys have a wonderful time with friends and families and those who you love. Since congestion pricing has been a hot topic, I quickly just want to say that Councilmember Rivera, along with other local officials, Councilmember Marti's office, Botcher, and Powers, all wrote a letter urging for an exemption for residents inside the zone. And we're going to continue to work with our state colleagues to make sure that our residents who have a car and need it for many different reasons, whether work, personal health, that they have that ability to come back in without having to pay in. I want to start off by City of Yes. Councilmember Rivera is in the Land Use Committee at City Council, and she, after intense negotiating, I want to say probably this 10-hour negotiating period, the council member was able to get some goodies on the overall plan while approving it, and I just want to list some of them off just so folks have that info, but I highly recommend everybody take a board report. There's a lot of good info. So there's going to be, in addition to approving City of Yes with some modifications, there's going to be an allocation of $2 billion for housing capital investment to finance affordable housing preservation, including Mitchell-Lama projects, NYCHA investments, and HDFCs. There's also $2 billion in infrastructure investments, including stormwater and drainage systems, street improvements, open space, sewer upgrades, $200 million to NYCHA to promote vacant unit readiness and Section 9 repairs, $215 million in additional funding for city feds across fiscal year 25 and 26, $180 million, $100 million for rental assistance for rehabilitation and conversion of homeless housing over 10 years. And then also we got some commitments from the agency for 200 new staff members for the Department of Housing and Preservation and Development. For those who don't know, the department is very understaffed, which has prevented some of the affordable housing projects that are on the pipeline to be stalled. So we got commitment for the department to be staffed to support a range of developments, including planning, enforcement, functions across the agencies and the Department of Buildings. So there's a lot of other things in the City of Yes, but these are some of the things that were negotiated. City Council is set to vote on the final approval on December 5th at the stated meeting. So highly encourage you all to testify if you want to, or watch for that. We also, Councilmember has put a resolution for the legislation that the state senator was speaking about for Governor Hochul to sign the Local Input and Community Healthcare Act. City Council held a hearing to see the effects of the loss of Mount Sinai in our community, and we're urging the governor and we're working with the state partners to make sure that that legislation gets passed. City Council also passed the Fair Act. This eliminates the broker fee for the renter. It is now responsible, the person who pays for the broker fee is the person who hires the broker fee, so we're not getting rid of the broker fee, but if you didn't hire a broker, you won't have to pay a fee, right? Whereas before, if you did hire one, if you didn't or not, you're just looking for an apartment, they'd included $2,000, $3,000 fee, just sometimes for not even showing up, just to put a key in for you to open it, and that's it. So I'm happy to see everybody else at all the events.
Just like 10 seconds.
Yeah, I'm happy to see everybody at all the turkey giveaways, and I'll take any questions. But I encourage you all to get the board report.
Any questions?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you, Julio. Okay, we'll move on to, I see you waving, but I can't recognize you right now. Sorry, we're having official, I know there's lots of new people here, but just so you know, we have to follow our agenda, and members of the public are invited to speak at the beginning. You can sign up for a form at our monthly full board meetings. But thank you all for being here. Okay, so we'll move on to roll call and approval of last month minutes.
David Adams. Stephen Ballinger. Sarah Bachu. Lee Berman.
Yes.
Solomon Fletcher. Tom Bowie. August Castelli. Carlin Chan.
Yes.
Ariadne Shua. Vincent Cerrito.
Here.
Eric Diaz.
Yes.
Alistair Kanamakis.
Yes.
Larry Fenn.
Here.
Tahisha Fields. Numa Fafana. John Fout. Catherine Freed. Sean Garcia.
Here.
Ryan Gilliam. Deborah Glass.
Here.
Charlie Goldenson.
Here.
Andrea Gordillo.
Yes.
Herman Hewitt. Trevor Holland. Valentina Jones. Anna Kakar.
Here.
Nancy Cohn.
Here.
Michelle Coopersmith.
Present.
Diane Lake. Here. Nay Lee.
Here.
Michael Lavario.
Yes.
Jaja Liao. Molly Liu.
Here.
Campbell Munn.
Here.
Indrani Rivera.
Here.
Gravin Olivares.
Here.
Damaris Reyes. Jaylene Rodriguez. Richard Robiak.
Yes.
Sherry Ryan. Arnett Scott.
Yes.
Clint Smeltzer.
Yes.
Sandra Struther. Daniel Tano.
Yes.
Zachary Thomas. Josephine Velez. Kathleen Webster. And Guillermo Zubiaga.
Great, thank you all. All right, so our next agenda item is our elections. It's this month is our annual elections, and Larry has graciously agreed to chair the nominating committee, and so I'll let him take over this portion. Thank you.
Hello everyone, as introduced, my name is Larry Fenn, and I'm the chair of the nominating committee. So this will be pretty brief, but in accordance with our bylaws, we must now conduct elections for our officers for one-year terms. Every officer candidate has been given the chance to give a short statement as well, so while the rest of the nominating committee passes out the ballots, Andrea will call people up, starting with herself.
Great. Yeah, so Larry is going to pass these around, and the folks who are on the ballot this year, if you could come up briefly. It's Michael Lavario, Solomon Fletcher, Anna Kakar, Arnett Scott, Diane Lake, and Kathleen Webster. And you are up here.
working with each and every one of you. And none of the work that I accomplished I could do alone, so I really sincerely thank you all for your collaboration. And this next year is going to be quite challenging, and our community is really going to need us, so I really am looking to each of you for your support and your leadership. There's been about 18 new members, and I know that community board affairs are not necessarily second nature, so I really appreciate everybody's ability to work together. I just want to describe a little bit of some of the issues that we've worked on this past year, many of which are, there's a myriad of them, and then many of them will be continuing through this next year. We've worked tirelessly in lockstep with the Mount Sinai Beth Israel Coalition. We're going to have to work to secure provisions of care in our community. We've worked to procure the arrival of thousands of migrants between residents and New Yorkers, and we're going to have to continue doing that work this next year. We've worked to inform the city's most influential zoning reforms, and we've won everything that we asked for. We've made concerted efforts to improve our parks and public spaces, and we'll continue to work towards that. We have major changes to transit access down the pipeline. You all heard a lot of that today. And so, and then just a couple other notes too. We've really done a lot to turn around our SLA committee. It's a really big challenge. Many members of the public are here for that very issue, and I'm very grateful to everybody in this room who's volunteered or stepped up to do this work. And I'll leave some more things for the board chair report, but I thank you all for your support and humbly ask for your vote. Thank you.
Hi, good evening everyone. My name is Mike. I work at the Department of Sanitation. I'm an attorney. I live on East Broadway near Seward Park in a rent-stabilized apartment with my partner and my 2 cats. Since 2023, I've served on the SLA committee and second vice chair. I'm running for first vice chair because I like the work that we do as a community board. I'm genuinely curious about what goes on, and I think I can help out. I have over 10 years of experience in government. That's federal, state, and city government, including the most recent 2 mayoral administrations. Before law school, I worked as a superintendent. I worked in nightlife, I worked in restaurants, bartended a little bit, I waited tables. Through law school, I trained in mediation and alternative dispute resolution. And I received management training in the mayor's office, where as legal director, I led a team of attorneys for a number of years, including through the COVID-19 pandemic. Generally, I think I can help out the community board, help out my colleagues on the board here, and do some good work for them.
Hi everyone, I'm Anna Kakar. I'm on the Health, Seniors, and Human Services Committee, which I joined with the community board this year. I have been involved in New York community initiatives for the last decade since I first moved to New York. I previously ran a weekly debate class for detainees at Rikers Island to help students advocate for themselves in trial. I volunteered weekly then for the Bowery Mission and Henry Street Settlement, and I'm committed to supporting the services that we have built around New York. At the time, I lived in the CB2 district, but I'm thrilled to have moved here over the last couple of years, and really excited to be able to advocate for a district that is so diverse, home to multiple naturally occurring retirement communities, and the most diverse community in New York. In my professional life, I was previously an operations leader at a large healthcare company, and now I run a service that provides palliative care and quality of life care to seniors that otherwise would not receive it. I am dedicated to creating the right resources, helping people access them, advocating for their creation, and creating efficient processes that allow us to do so, and would love to be able to do that as second vice chair at this board.
Hello, yeah, my name is Solomon, and I am a member
CD3, and I've been on CD3 for 1.5 years now. On the board, I've helped in transportation to try to advocate for better busways and for more accessibility. And I've lived here for a long time. I really care about improving the infrastructure of the neighborhood. And I've also served on the youth council with Harvey Epstein for 6 years now. And I've been to basically every meeting for the last year, with a few exceptions, when I have had something, when I was not in New York at the moment. And yeah, I hope that I can serve as the second vice chair. Thank you. All right.
I know.
Or
Do we have Diana? There you go.
Okay, my name is Ernest Scott. I'm running for secretary, so I hope I remember what I said because I have to type it. But I'm a longtime resident of the Lower East Side, born and raised here. So was my mom. My grandparents migrated from the South in the 40s and made roots here on the Lower East Side. I care about the community. I care about the people. I joined CB3. My mind is gone. It was a while ago, wasn't too long because I'm not that old. And the reason why I joined CB3 was because I really do care about the neighborhood and as it changed, I wanted to know more about the changes and why we were making these changes and how I can get involved in that. I love the working group of the executive board. We've been able to communicate very well. I like the way we are able to function. I like to continue that. And I guess I like typing, so I hope that helps. And that's it. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Oh, wait, no. Just a minute. No. Here. Hi, I'm Diane Lake. I am running for vice secretary. I've been doing that job for the last year. I've been calling your names pretty regularly. I hope I've been pronouncing them properly. If not, please let me know. This is my second year on the board. I'm on the Parks Committee. I'm now the vice chair of the Parks Committee. And I have been living at the northern end of this community board district for 38 years. My children were born here, raised here, and went to school here. And we're all really committed to this district and seeing it to be successful. And now that I have more free time, I'm really happy to be participating in this board and helping to get the work done. I'm newer to the board, so I'm still learning, but I'm happy to, pitch in as secretary and partner with Arnett and participate in the executive committee and help to get things done the way we want them to happen. So thank you.
So let's go back to Larry, or?
I believe Kathleen is not here, so maybe we'll get a chance to hear from her next time. But she's running unopposed, so. Larry, should we give you the ballots back?
Yes.
Okay, do you need a moment?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so we'll go on to board reports, and then we'll go back to the nominations here. I'll keep it really brief since we have about an hour to try and get through a lot of agenda items. We're gonna have a holiday party at Donnybrook, right? Was that Donnybrook?
Yes.
Yes. At Donnybrook next month on the 17th. Just as an FYI, this is open only to board members and elected officials. As much as we would love to invite members of the public, we are restricted to a smaller group. As always, we ask for a $25 donation to cover costs of food and beverage and the venue. Solomon has graciously stepped up to collect those funds. So at next meeting, if you would like to attend, please get the funds to him so he can collect the money. So it's after school board meeting, which is December 17th. I hope you all are there. It's always a good time. And then, as always, for the new members in particular, please remember to sign up to your conflicts of interest board trainings. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email. And with that, I'll just pass it to Susan, who has much more reports.
Thank you. For the party, we will be sending out emailing invites, and you'll be able to RSVP that way, but for that. We've been receiving calls from landlords for small buildings in CB3 who don't have the space to implement the new containerization laws. And we've been trying to work with sanitation, community affairs. So if anyone's having problems, or if you know someone that's having problems, we can connect them to work one-on-one. The sanitation will work one-on-one with any landlord having difficulty. Their sanitation is also issuing a waiver, but it does not allow exemption for limited space. But if the property owners feel that the bins would become a public safety hazard, there is a request for an exemption form. So please let me know, or if you know anyone that needs help, please let them know that we can connect them. Another issue that we just found out today is impacting small businesses. There's a new federal law that can have great impact. And the reason I say it's impacting small businesses is because of the possible financial impact. This is a federal law, so SBS, Small Business Services, is conducting outreach. It's called the Corporate Transparency Act, and it requires that all businesses report information about individuals who own or control them to the U.S. Department of Treasury by the end of the year, December 31st. Any newly informed business after that must do the same within 90 days. Penalties can lead up to $500 per day. So that's why there's such an outreach effort to contact businesses. I think we'll try and get flyers that we can give out at the SLA meetings to let business owners know too. You can find information and free help on the SBS website, or again, if you're having problems getting information, please let me know. I received a number of calls from residents around Avenue B for problems that occurred on the last 2 weekends. They occurred at 47 Avenue B. 2 weeks ago, there was an event in a space that should not be licensed, it should be empty. And there was reports of underage drinking, which proved to be true. The police came and shut it down. The fire department was also there. There were rumors that there were ODs, but there doesn't seem to be any documentation. At the very same location this weekend, there was shooters. Police were called. The shooter has been arrested. There's an ongoing investigation trying to figure out who is hosting the events, and it involves several illegal issues that have to be investigated. And now for some good news, Catherine. This is good news about the elevator on Delancey Street Station. So elected, as I think Brian was referring to, elected officials in the community board did receive an update from EDC, and there is progress on the development of Site 9, which will allow for, at the same time, access for the MTA to build the elevator, and as reported before, there is funding secure for the elevator. There was a time when they were going to use the funding for 2nd Avenue stop because there was not access at Delancey. That is no longer happening. This is all very vague because nothing has been finalized, but it looks very good, and we should get more information in January. My last also good news is I hope to have full staff in the office by January. And that's it, unless, Trevor?
Just one quick question. The diamond that is supposed to come down by Friday.
Right.
But I can't find clarity on the diamond sets that are on the sidewalks.
They can stay all year.
Even if they're illegal.
they have to be in compliance. They're supposed to be in compliance, and I think it's by now. If you see a sidewalk cafe that does not look like it meets the new guidelines, we can report that. Anything else?
There was, I saw Valentina and
Carlin?
Did DSNY ever get back to us on the storage of garbage bins by commercial tenants on the sidewalks?
They didn't, and I confess that I don't remember. Is that something that was asked at the last?
Yeah, that was asked,
I did not think to follow up, but I will do that.
I saw Valentina had a question.
Who?
Valentina.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you.
In terms of the Delancey Street Station, they had funding, I think, before COVID. And the issue kept being that the Delancey Associates at that site 9 kept, issues with when were they going to build, because the issue became that MTA or whoever does the elevator there did not want to put the elevator there until they built the building. Because they said if they put the elevator there and then they built the building, that construction might do in the building. So what has changed? Because every time I've heard this
Development has changed.
it goes back to the Lansing Associates and that building, the funding is there.
So what has changed? What has changed is that development. What has changed is development. It looks like there is progress on developing the site. So up till now.
Developing the site and then go, okay. So is there any timeline on how long that's going to take?
It's not.
It's always been dependent on that site and their construction there.
So there's nothing finalized yet. We hope by January, but it looks very good. There's progress. It looks very good. We expect that the development will be finalized, and we will have more information in January.
Oh, January, okay.
Okay, thanks. It looks like Larry's still collating the ballots, so I'll get moving along with committee reports now. Just one quick thing on executive. We did have to come up with a resolution on an attendance matter. I just want to take this as a quick opportunity to remind folks about our attendance rules. There are no excused absences save for extenuating medical emergencies where you need to request a leave of absence.
For 2 months or more.
For 2 months or more. You are allotted up to 1/3 of absences. Above that, we will send you a letter and CC either the borough president or the council member who appointed you, and inform you of your attendance over the past 6 months, and we'll ask you to improve your attendance. If that doesn't happen, we have to take further action. So I just wanted to explain that to folks who may not be as familiar. Any questions? Okay, wait.
I have a question about that, but we didn't expect the amendment to the resolution to pass. It was missed something that we actually discussed at the committee. It should read is subject to removal if it's determined to be inadequate. We determined at the executive committee that it would read if this is deemed to be inadequate during the term, it will be removed.
Okay, is there a second?
Was that what you voted on?
We discussed it, but it was an error in the transcript.
So then you've already voted on it.
Right, but we made an error, so Clint is making a friendly amendment. It's not correct in the resolution. Yeah.
Because he won't be removed though, even if that passes that resolution, we still have to modify that whole board, so he won't.
No, the bylaws read that he can be removed at the discretion of the chair or executive committee.
That is what we discussed at full board. I was just.
Have that in the resolution, so it's not for us.
No, I think it always does go to the full board, though, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Right, as any resolution goes from a committee to full board, right? So, okay, so I saw a second, so is sorry, I'm like, are there any objections?
Point of information, I
Yeah.
did not hear if Clint
feedback.
Yeah.
It was just, because this was essentially the third time, and we brought him to, but we chose not to remove him at the executive committee, but the reprimand was not to be subject if his attendance did not meet the requirements in the next term. It would be that he would be removed. As opposed to then, because if it's just subject, it has to be called up and we have to discuss it with him again. We've done that, this is the second time essentially. So it would be, we chose not to remove him, but his attendance has to approve, or it would be removed, as opposed to being subject to removal means we have to go through the process again.
Michelle's question?
No, I don't want to use bylaws.
Okay.
It says that procedures for removal or reprimanding the board member for cause. The board may, by majority vote at a regular meeting, reprimand or remove a board meeting for cause. So the executive committee or the board chair can't remove a member from the lab.
Nope.
So you would have to say that the executive committee would vote to remove this, not. Sorry.
So the right, so it's just a wording issue here, right?
Yeah, we have to say the executive.
Okay.
But not.
I don't have the words in front of me.
But the board would vote to do so.
Do you have that down, Ryan?
No.
Okay, wait, I don't have it in front of me, so hold on a second. What section is this on the resolution?
See where the
Okay.
I circled.
So, is subject to removal, Michelle, your,
I would say if what you're intending to say is the executive committee will vote to remove it, but again, you can't guarantee that because you need to have everyone vote on it, so I don't.
right.
It would still go to the full board.
Yes, I understand what you're saying, but either way,
You can't mandate that the executive committee vote a majority to remove somebody ahead of time, that seems dictatorial, so I don't think it makes sense to put it in the resolution.
okay.
Personally,
I understand what you're saying logistically, it was just okay. So I'm just trying to understand the motions here. Maris, do you have a superlative, what's the technical term here? Okay, Clint, are you still entertaining this motion or
I mean, that's
call the
what we
question?
voted on in exec, so that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, it's been seconded.
It's been seconded, so we have to vote on it, yes. Okay, so there were no objections, I mean, I think there was. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Do you have something to add?
What are we really saying? Are we saying that, are we authorizing the executive committee to take this vote? Or are we saying that it is the responsibility of the executive committee or of this board to take that position? What are we saying?
I think it was the former. I think it was we were authorizing the executive committee to take this vote. Should attendance not improve?
But the question then is, right, are we saying that the executive committee has the option to vote and that their word, and then their vote is, I mean, I'm not clear either.
Right. Yeah, I understand it's confusing. I would rather just move on and, I'm trying to think of the procedure here. Valentina, do you have anything you'd like to propose to change? You're confused.
Yeah, it says therefore be resolved that they recommend Sean Garcia. So what do we add or subtracted from this is right here on the page?
I think I understand what we were trying to get to. We were trying to give it more weight because generally speaking, and this is a thing, I think, a point of information for everyone, right? It's like at this point, we're required to take action, whether that's reprimand or remove, and so we were trying to not just kick this can down the road. Yeah. We were trying to say that should attendance not improve, we would vote to remove.
Well, it it says here deemed inadequate during the next review period, so that's what I'm saying. What are we adding other than what's right here? It says therefore be it resolved, we reprimand Sean Garcia and he is subject to removal if his attendance is deemed inadequate during the next review period. So all I'm saying is what are we adding in terms of an amendment or whatever?
So
What are we
Clint
trying
was
to
saying that, what was your wording, Clint?
It was just that instead of subject to be removed, it is would be removed, because we were giving him another chance. But this is his, I think it's his fourth period.
But Michelle's objection, okay, so he was saying that it will be removed, but Michelle's objection was that that's over determining the course of action.
What I heard Michelle say was that the committee can vote to remove.
Right.
But that's different than saying that after a chance, that person can be removed. What Michelle is, I think, objecting to is saying that you're telling the committee how to vote versus setting the policy that at that stage, once that last chance is given, there's no other chances.
That's it.
That's it. There's no other chances, right?
Well, I think it's what we can.
That's what I'm saying.
Will vote, will hold it, not will vote to.
But I think that the question here is to remove it from the ability to be voted on. At that stage of the process, it's already been voted on several times, and that is the point. The point is that at a final stage, when you give a final opportunity, if they still, whatever the issue is, if there is not compliance, do you bring it back again and again and again? No, I think you can be in that game perpetually forever.
Right, I think you would violate our bylaws to pre-remove somebody, to pre-remove somebody.
I think that they're changing the bylaws and that they're not violating.
I call the question.
Wait, yeah, we're not changing bylaws, we're not, the board is, and the chairperson is authorized and subject to determine the course of action based on information that we receive, right? We invite the member to come and explain their situation, and we make a determination based on individual, courses of action. So I think, yes, we could call the question, but I don't know what this means for, okay. Okay, so.
What specific words are we voting on? Yeah. Well, Clint's wording was to remove subject and say will.
So the wording is as stands on the resolution, and Clint's amendment was is subject to, but it will be removed. So I think we need a roll call vote, or should I? Yeah. Okay, so can I get a quick show of hands of those in favor of the amendment? The amendment was will be removed. Okay, I think that looks like a majority. I think it's, okay. I think it's pretty much 50-50, so we'll have to do a roll call vote.
Okay, so you're voting on the amendment. Should it say will be removed? That's what we're voting on. David Adams. Okay. Wagyu, Stephen Ballinger. Sarah Bachu. Lee Berman.
Yes.
Solomon Fletcher. Tom Bowie. August Costelli. Carlin Chan.
Yes.
Ariadne Chua. Vincent Cerrito.
Yes.
Eric Diaz.
Outside.
Come back. Alistair Kaunakis. Larry Fenn.
No.
Tahisha Fields.
Yes.
Naima Fafana.
Yes.
John Fouch. Catherine Freed.
I think grammatically should be shall, but yes.
Garcia,
Staying.
Brian Gilliam. Yes. Deborah Glass.
Yes.
Charlie Goldenson. Andrea Gordillo.
Yes.
Herman Hewitt. Absent. Trevor Holland. Valentina Jones.
Abstain.
Annika Carr. Yes. Nancy Kong.
No.
Michelle Cooper Smith.
No.
Diane Lake. Yes. May Lee. Yes. Michael Bavario.
No.
Jaja Liao. Absent. Molly Lou.
Yes.
Campbell Nunn.
No.
Adriana Rivera.
Yes, to be ready.
Gravino Olivares. Damaris Reyes.
Yes.
Jaylene Rodriguez. Richard Robiak.
Yes.
Sherry Ryan. Absent. Arnett Scott.
Damn it. Okay. I have a question. Okay, no. Then no.
No.
So when I add,
Clint Smeltzer.
Yes.
Sandra Struther. Absent. Daniel Tano. Zachary Thomas. Absent. Josephine Velez. Kathleen Webster, absent, and Bill Garcia. Oh, there you are, sorry. I didn't hear you vote, yes? Thank you. All right, and Mayor Rosibiaga?
Yes.
All right. It could pass, but I'll pass.
Okay. Thank you.
May, do you have anything to report? Okay, I'll let Diane tally while you give your report.
Hi, good evening, everyone. For Health and Human Services Committee, we do have a resolution for you to vote on. It's on page 2 and 3 of your vote sheet. It involves the Lower East Side Service Center. They have 2 buildings on East Broadway. They occupy 2 buildings, 62 and 46 East Broadway. They plan to consolidate into 46 East Broadway and also build an addition to it. They received funding from Oasis to do the additions, and but they do not require any approvals. They just require the Oasis, their funder, requires them to notify the community board. So that's what they did. They came to our committee meeting and told us about it, and we had a chance to learn about it and also relearn about their services that they offer at their site. So, Richard?
They had one question earlier in the meeting. They came to us, they notified us, why we have to vote on it.
I think this is a little bit more just for transparency to know, let the board, make the board more aware that they did come to us. So the thing is, we did vote on it, just to say that we heard it and know what it's about. However, we did not have quorum. All those who were present at the meeting did vote and raise their hand for it. So,
Someone has to move.
yes. Is Johnny? Yes. Yeah, I'm waiting for. Yeah, go ahead. Yes.
I was just asking, it's not clear exactly to me the intent of this resolution or to notify us, because they're talking about rehabilitating a building, so I guess my question is there anything land use or, development related to this is just that they're doing regular renovation and they just wanna tell us about the new programming, and is that the gist of it?
Right, yeah, they're actually adding some floors to the building. Not just renovating the interior, but, adding some storage to the back of the building. And they own the building, so.
Okay.
And they tell us that.
It's just that the state requires them to come and say, hey, we're doing this with our programming.
Yeah.
There's no construction or land use matter at all?
There's minor construction, there's no land use action.
That was the first thing we asked. And Johnny?
Yes, what do I do? Did you have a question?
She wants to make, she wants to make a motion.
Oh, okay, I make a motion. I don't know what I'm supposed to say.
She's moving this to the floor because there's no quorum.
And Johnny?
There was no quorum at the committee.
And Johnny?
Yes.
Okay, you want to make a motion?
She's just moving.
Is there anything else I need to say?
Yes, you do.
Okay, I'll do that.
Very
There's
good.
still questions.
Oh, question? Yes, Carlin?
So 62, they are closing 62, and how many floors are they adding to 46?
Was it another 6?
I think it was 6. 6 floors? Or was it 4 more? Oh, was it 4? It was 4 more to make it
4, right, it's a 6-story building. And so they rent 62, so they're just gonna leave, depart from 62.
There'll be one facility.
So they rent part of 62, not all of it. There's other tenants in the building, but they plan to leave their rental and move everything into 46,
They own.
which they own. Yes?
2 things. One, did they say how many additional drug treatment seats or positions there will be, whether it's for methadone, other opiates? How many additional individuals they will be serving with these added floors?
Well, they didn't say there was anything additional because they're in 2 buildings right now. So they're leaving one building and consolidating into the other. They didn't say there was additional.
To that location, to that particular location, how many will be added?
Well, everything from 62 would go into 46. Whatever is in 62.
And then the other thing is, there's no need to move anything here because this was a notification. So a motion is out of order because we're not being asked to vote on anything, correct?
Yes, we are.
Yes, you are.
You're not asked to approve it, but you're asked to vote on it.
I think, to clarify, it seemed like Johnny moved the motion to bring this to a vote on the floor because there was a quorum at committee.
No quorum.
I see what Lee's saying.
We're not approving it, we're voting that we've been notified. We're formalizing the presentation that they gave us, the notification.
She has a question or
We've done this before, the state requires it.
Yeah,
The state has required this, we're voting on it for.
To vote on their notification.
Correct.
Thank you.
Okay, is that it? Thank you.
Okay, Larry, do you want to go next? Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
All right, the ballots have been tabulated, and the winners are in order: for chair, Andrea Gordillo; for vice chair, Michael Lavario; for second vice chair, Monica Carr; for secretary, Diane Lake; for vice secretary,
Vice Secretary is Diane Lake.
oh, secretary Arnett Scott. Yes, I'm sorry. And treasurer, Kathleen Webster.
Thank you so much, and thanks to the members of the nominating committee, and thank you, Sarah, for your service as first vice chair this past year. Okay, moving on. Actually, Sarah has done anything on cannabis.
What? You're so good. Do we have any tallies?
Hi everyone. We actually don't have any items for cannabis this month, and just one thing I want to remind folks on is the OCM, the Office of Cannabis Management at the state, does give licenses to folks who do not have locations, but in order for those folks to come to us to talk about their application, we require that they show proof of control of the place where they would like to do business in the form of a lease. And so just a consistent problem that we're having that I just want everyone to be aware of is that many applicants come to CB3 asking about the same locations, and none of them has a lease, and so until we see the lease, we cannot calendar them, we cannot move forward with the calendared item. And so that's just something that's taking up a lot of Susan's time, and I just want to thank her for dealing with that chaos. But hopefully we'll have some more applications next time.
Any questions about that? Okay. Thanks everyone for their patience on jumping around. Give me 1 second. Can we get an update on the vote tally, Diane, for the amendment?
So for the amendment, there were 26 yes, 11 no, 3 abstentions.
Okay, so it passes. Okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay, we had all of our items that had stipulations were signed and returned. As you've heard earlier, we did have one item, which was number 11. It was B-side for 131 Avenue C. There was a proposed resolution that was for hours of 2 a.m. on the weekends, 12 a.m. closing Sunday through Wednesday, no DJs. That motion was a tie, ended in a tie, so it did not carry at the committee, which means there was no action taken. It needs to be discussed, and it's up to the full board of what they choose to do, whether they choose to accept and move forward with that resolution as presented, amend, deny. I'm throwing that out to because it was tied at our committee, so.
So were all the STIPs on each side signed?
Yes, they did sign the STIPs. We did, because it was tied, it was a tie at the committee, so we did send the STIPs out to them for them to sign and return if they chose, and they did choose to sign them. So we weren't sure what would happen at the full board, so it was sent out. If the board chooses to accept those, it's already signed. It makes it much easier for the applicant. So yes, they did sign those stipulations as presented in the resolution at the committee. Michelle.
I just wanted to say, and I really respect the work of the committee, obviously. I was watching the meeting, and it was really long. I've never seen more than 50 community members show up in support of an application. I was the SLA chair for 2 years. I've never seen that in my time on the board, and they got double the number of signatures in support that were in opposition. And I kind of just feel like, what is the point of asking these applicants to do all this work if we're just going to ignore it? I understand that that's a really unprecedented level of support that I've never seen. And so I just want to say that I plan to support this. I understand that the location might not be what people's ideal version of a location is, but as we heard, it's an economic decision, at least partially. And you seem like people that, if there's anyone that can turn around a location, it will be these folks. And so I just wanted to put that out there as someone who has seen a lot of SLA applications. And so I will be voting yes, and I hope that others will. Thanks.
I'm sorry, I really have to ask you to refrain from clapping. We have less than 30 minutes to get through this, so I really appreciate your patience.
Okay, I think, Trevor, There is no or yes at the moment, because there was nothing, it was a tie at the committee, so there was no resolution that came out of the committee. We proposed a resolution that did not carry.
So where are we right now?
So.
You should explain what I wrote down.
Yeah.
Hold on a second.
Give me 1 second.
So while she's looking, Robin,
I just want to say that I feel like the people that are trying to rent this space are being punished by actions of other landlords, correct? I just want to say that these people that are trying to come into our community, they've been here for years. They are part of the community. They give food to the kids. They come to the schools. They are a part of our community. And we make it so easy for people that don't even live here to have locations here, but the people that are here that we're living, trying to give jobs to the people that they know, that they grew up with, we're giving okays to people to come from Queens and Brooklyn to have a liquor license on 60-something years, but we can't give them an approval, and they're being punished because nobody maybe likes the landlord. These are things that I've heard in the community. These are things that I've not been told. Because I walk around, I read the evidence. They don't have nothing on one wall. They don't have no complaints in their prior location, and I think it's just really bad that we're not giving and listening to them. Yes, I understand that there's people against it because of all the noise, but where in the Lower East Side, after 9 o'clock, it's quiet?
Okay, if I can just say one thing to clarify for the board members here. I think it would be appropriate, as Clint advised, to deliberate briefly on this, but there's a few options that folks can entertain, which is a board member can make a motion to vote on the resolution that did not pass. Any board member can make a motion to deny the resolution that didn't pass.
No, just to deny.
Or just to deny the applicant.
application.
And the last thing is a board member can make a motion for any other thing, right? Any other motion.
So can I make a motion to remove them?
With stipulations? Is she?
Because they already have an active liquor license. They're just trying to transfer it over. They're giving us closing at 12, but they're supposed to close
No,
at
it's a new license. Is it a removal or is it a new license?
It's not the location, as I understand it, hasn't been licensed since 2017.
But is this a removal
I know.
or new
it is,
license?
but there's another license in that location already.
No, that's not what I'm asking. I'm asking if it's a removal, could it have the same stipulations as the original one?
All right, there's a motion on the floor.
We're trying to understand what the application is.
No,
What is the motion? I didn't
removal,
hear it.
their
Give us 1
application
second.
is asking for the same.
Give us 1 second.
You know, Frank's here.
Hi, Susan, how are you?
Yeah, so Frank, is this a removal? So it would carry the same stipulations?
I agree.
I'm asking.
The application was for the same stipulations as the location on Avenue B.
Okay.
So, Robin had made a motion, and there was a second. So we have to deliberate what's on the floor right now.
You just said not, so what's on our vote sheet is not what we're voting on right now.
Well,
It is
no,
not
that hasn't been
transparent.
made complete.
But
Robin
that's
made a motion.
that's what I heard was asked, was to approve what's on our vote, to vote for approval of what's
My
on our
motion
vote.
is to adopt the stipulations that they have, right? That's what I was trying to say.
Okay, so to clarify, so that just be super clear, there's a resolution in your vote sheets, right? There was no action taken by the committee.
But she's saying what they.
Am I correct in saying that what this is the stipulations, is the resolution to pass it with stipulations?
Yes.
Right.
But this is what Gravin is saying, and correct me if I'm wrong. You're saying, you keep that. You're saying that you would make a motion to approve with the stipulations and on their application that they applied for, not what is on the vote sheet. Is that what you just said?
How does your application differ from the vote sheet?
What they applied for 4 a.m. DJs, and those are the main 2 points that were different from what's on the vote sheet. But what the resolution was made in committee was 2 a.m. It was not to approve 4 a.m. across the board. It was to give them 2 a.m. on the weekends, 12 during the week, and no DJs.
And was that what the stipulation?
And that was the stipulations they signed. I'm sorry, I didn't hear the second first.
Weren't these stipulations made so that you guys, community board, and they came to an agreement so that they you could vote yes and they still didn't get passed?
Technically, that is technically Garvin is right, but that's not what happened. Right? Technically, they signed an agreement so that we can vote yes, right?
Yeah, I think it's the best for folks to come up here because it's really hard to hear people.
Also order so we have some speakers one at a time.
So what happened was, there was a motion made, or there was a resolution that was put forth at the committee for the stipulations that is in your vote sheet. So you want to vote for what's on the vote sheet, not what they applied for? Okay, I didn't hear that from your very first statement, so that's what I wasn't clear on. So Gravin has made a motion to vote on the resolution that is in your vote sheet for item number 11. Now, I think Val had her hand up first before I did.
Someone has to sign her. Yeah, everybody who wants to speak, I really encourage you all to come up here because it's really chaotic to hear anyone talking over each other. So please come up here.
My question is just, when did whoever is the present owner, because there's a whole lot of complaints on this sheet from 2019, 2018, 2017, 2006. When did the present owners take over this place? Because sometimes
They haven't, Val, yet. They are applying and they are not in that space yet.
so these are new owners. So
For this location, yes.
So all these complaints that we're looking at on here, these are complaints about a previous owner.
Yes. However, but the state, one thing that the state, let me clarify.
Everybody please speak one at a time.
Let me clarify one thing, Val. They are for previous owner, but the state requires that we consider that as part of our application. There are about 4 points the state requires when we review liquor license, and the past history is one of the things we have to consider.
Right, so the past history that we're looking at on here with these complaints are complaints about a previous owner.
Yes, you are.
So if these people, new owners, if these new owners take over, and I'm assuming, let's say they don't do things so that we have all of these complaints, there's no issue. But if they do take over and we get the same complaints, they would come back here to us.
Not necessarily. They don't come back to us. It's an enforcement issue.
That's all I really want to know. So these are new owners, all of these complaints here about a previous owner. Okay.
Good people, family people from the neighborhood.
So I know people have questions, but we are entertaining this resolution right now. Okay, so I know that people have clarifying questions, which is fine, but I want to remind folks that that's what's happening, and I'm going to help Clint take stack because I have about 10 of you all wanting to speak. Okay, and Susan wanted to just clarify something about our guidance. I'll let her speak briefly about it.
Okay, I just wanted to explain about the guidance since that was referred to. This is not anything for or against this resolution. We have guidance which was written partly for applicants, so to help them to know what to expect. And many people, not many people, some applicants, for instance, last Thursday, I had a representative call the office and said, I have read your guidance. My applicant wants to rent an unlicensed place on Broome Street. Would the board approve that or consider that? And I had to answer that our guidance says this is unlicensed, it's a problem area, so our guidance is against us. And the answer was, okay, we'll look for someplace else. So it really impacts people unfairly, and also I can't give people information in the board if we don't have some clarity and consistency. So if you don't want guidance, you should not have guidance. Or if you do have guidance, there should be consistency in guidance, because I use that guidance to guide people, and some people turn away from, I think you get the idea.
I would encourage people to also read that guidance as well. I don't want to open a can of worms where we do grant exceptions. Clint could speak to this more, to certain exceptional operators. I just want to state that as a fact of our guidance. I have a long list of people here, so I'm going to help Clint with that. It was Damaris, Sarah, Anna, Sean, and then I'll do Stephen, and then Guillermo.
Couple questions. So the first question is that, is the STIP that the applicants signed and agreed to, is it the same terms that are on this resolution?
Yes.
All right. Second, is it true that B-side was already a location on Avenue B? Is that correct?
It is correct.
Right? So this is more of an existing operator, right? Moving to a new location, is that correct?
Yes.
Right, so it's not a new license, right?
It is considered a new license.
But technically for the area, it's more of a transfer, right, in a way?
There's already another license in the location that they were, so they're moving theirs, but it's not reducing the number of licenses.
Right, so it's not reducing, but it's also not adding.
It is adding.
How is it adding?
Because there's not a current license where they are moving to.
But they're leaving the location that they were at, which is only a block away.
And there's already a license in that location that was approved this month administratively.
So what that means is what exactly?
That means it's not reducing the number of licenses in the location. In the area.
It was for wine and beer as well.
It was for wine and beer.
All right, well, technically.
It's a restaurant.
Right, so technically, it was on Avenue B, now it's gonna be on Avenue C.
Correct.
Is that correct? And so there are how many licenses, do you know how many licenses?
16.
Were on Avenue B?
Oh, on Avenue B, I don't recall the exact number within 500 feet, but Avenue B was
Do you know if
very.
it's comparable, like is it?
It's
about the
similar.
same? Okay.
Avenue B is a different.
Alright, so I just wanna say, as a board member who runs an organization that is on Avenue B, and has been on Avenue B for 20-something years, and I have seen B-side for 20-something years, I do want to say a couple of really nice things about them. They're good neighbors. I don't usually go in, but they don't make a lot of noise. They've never created any ruckus in the community. I've always heard really good things about them, and a lot of the locals that we serve are always asking us where's B-side, because they like the place and they think that it's a cool joint, and that it feels homey, and that the people that run it are from here. So that's my 2 cents. I'll be supporting you guys.
Hi everyone. I also will be speaking in support of B-side and Sabina and Wally, who, as you can see, are fixtures in our community. I just wanted to give an opportunity, because I know we can't clap and make noise, just for folks who are here in support of B-side to stand up if you're able to. And I just want to say I was at the committee meeting at SLA, and I see some new faces in addition to the folks who came in person to that meeting last week. So thank you all for coming out and staying for a very long meeting. I also just wanted, you can sit down if you like. I just wanted to also call out the fact that if you look at the petition signatures, which I know Wally brought a stack for folks to look at, there are 6 occupied units in the building where they are looking to relocate, and they have 5 of the tenants from that building signed in support of this application. I think that the stipulations that the SLA committee was able to get during the committee meeting were, I think, much more realistic for the street. It is a saturated street. I think we can all agree that. But I think Wally and Sabina are going to add something to that street and really going to bring something positive to that street for the community that already lives here, which is very different than many of the spaces on Avenue C. So I just encourage all of our fellow board members to really think about how we can support folks from our community to get the opportunity to keep their small business open. Thank you, and thank you.
Okay, all right, I'll let Carlin speak, and then Anna.
This was half an hour ago, but
I'm sorry.
I wanted to call the question and just make a motion to add this resolution to the total vote sheet. Jesus.
Anna? Okay. Sean Garcia, yeah?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, very, very impressive by the
It's gotta be second,
folks who are here
Carlin.
staying out for a long committee meeting. I wasn't clued in, but without exaggeration, I got 7 text messages from other parent leaders in the district. I'm a parent leader in the district. Other parent leaders in support of B-side. I was just like, what is going on? Why are people texting me about this? And I understand why. Because I came into this room today, and folks who are here in support, I see people I love from the neighborhood who are supportive of this. And just on the grounds of those connections and honoring those connections, I'm going to vote in support of B-side tonight. And I just encourage folks to, yes, guidance is important, but we also have to understand when exceptions need to be made.
Is there a second to Carlin's motion?
Yeah.
Okay. Any objections? Oh, it was just to adopt.
The motion was to call the question, end the debate on it, and just add this resolution to the total vote sheet at the end of the night.
Okay, it's fine, if there's no objection. Okay, Sven, I don't mean to take over, I was just trying to be helpful because there was a lot of people. I had Steven, Guillermo, and then Trevor. It seems like everyone's happy to not talk over each other now.
So at the SLA subcommittee meeting, this application was not an easy one to come to a consensus about. If this was any other location with a more positive history, it would be a much easier debate. On one hand, you have very vocal support in regards to the operators and the previous business of B-side. On the other hand, you also have vocal opposition from neighbors, adverse history of the space, and concerns about oversaturation on that area of Avenue C. It's hard to ignore both sides here. I am extremely sympathetic to the operators about what happened at the old location. I've also been in this business my whole life, and I could not imagine my career and livelihood going up in flames like that. I am also sympathetic to the local residents regarding crime and the space's history and adding one more license to the area. With that said, during the SLA meeting, I supported and I still support a middle ground scenario. This is the reduction of the hours of operation and having stipulations such as no DJs. This will give the operators enough room to get their business back and assurance to the neighbors that there won't be another rowdy bar on that stretch of Avenue C.
Thank you. Carlin, did you call the question?
Yes, I did.
Okay, I'm sorry, I wasn't listening. So that means we have to close debate, if there's a second, right?
Well, if you let me speak, then it doesn't matter.
I'm sorry?
Then after I speak, it doesn't make any question.
Okay.
So I'm gonna be quick.
Okay.
I'm gonna be quick. I know a lot of folks stood up here in support of this particular license, but I still see some folks here who were here before a lot of board members came to talk about their experience with the operator. And I think it's kind of unfair to ignore, especially the gentleman back there and the young lady who are here to talk about their experiences, which a lot of board members did not hear. But I will say this, has the operator reached out to those people who lived there who had a problem with the previous operators? And if so, were you able to come to some resolution with them?
We've tried. They haven't reached out. For 7 or 8 weeks, we were posted up in the front of the space with a folding table and coffee and cookies. And I heard that one of them in particular was very, very strong poser.
We
reached out. We did. We're very present. We're very present.
I just want to make sure that people were aware that those folks were here and they had issues before we talked about all these things, because they live there, a person lives above the space, and those are the ones that are going to be impacted.
Yes, Guillermo, and then we're done. And then we have to close this.
The person who lives above the space.
Well, I'm just gonna speak because he spoke before the vote.
Of the application, but she's in the hospital today, so she can't be. Okay. She's literally lived above it for 40 years, and she is supporting it.
Right, I just want to say that we stayed, I'm Guillermo, I'm with Clint in the SLA subcommittee, and we stayed until noon debating all this. We heard all the opposition and the support. I have tried to break it down to the facts as much as possible, and it's an application that pertains to an unlicensed location in an area already hosting bars with full liquor licenses that operate late into the night. And then when you approve a new licensed establishment, it's a decision that cannot be reversed, and it's important to carefully consider that for the long-term impact on the neighborhood. Those are my thoughts. Just wanted to be as factual as ever because we really spent until midnight that day debating this case. So maybe we can now vote.
Right, okay. Right, I know, you're right. I'm sorry, I got confused. Okay, so we have to vote to call the question, right? So we have, since somebody did that, we have to do a roll call.
I call the question, there's no vote on that. There's a vote on my motion now.
Okay, so we have 10 minutes here. We have to vote on whether or not to continue debate if we're called the question, right? Right? So can I see a raise of hands if there's anyone who would like to continue debate? If you'd like to continue debate. I'm sorry, we have to really focus here.
So no one raised their hand, so now we're going to vote on whether we want to accept out of that resolution.
Okay. So right now, we're going to have to take a vote whether to accept the resolution with the stipulations. Right? Yes. So is there any objection? Okay, there was no objection.
I was just gonna give it a
I do have a question. Are you taking a separate vote on this one particular item? Are we voting to add it to the whole entire vote sheet as I motioned?
I thought your motion was to add it to the vote sheet. And
Yes,
I thought that was
that's why I had,
accepted.
but what you said, I thought you meant to take a separate vote on this particular item. That's how I heard it. There's the common space here.
I know, I'm sorry. So we just took a vote to,
We're making a motion.
what is the motion on the floor? What are we
The
talking about?
motion is to vote on this.
To add it to the vote sheet. We added
There
to the
was
vote
no
sheet, right?
objections though, so it's on the
Because
vote
once we
sheet.
add it to the vote sheet, then we do our final roll call, then
Right.
we're voting on the actual resolution.
So right
If we're
now-
adding it, right now, it's not added to the vote sheet, because Clint didn't add, it wasn't voted on. So we're voting to add it to the vote sheet, correct?
Yeah.
Once we add it to the vote sheet, then we do the final roll call, and then that's when we say yay or nay on the stipulation and resolution that we have.
Yeah.
So we have to vote right now.
Go.
Yeah, so we're just gonna vote right now to add it in, and then we do the final vote later.
Most of us couldn't hear any of that.
I'm so sorry, I'm not.
Can we?
That's what I understood.
Yes.
Andrea, yeah.
Do you want to do a roll call on whether we're adding this?
There was no objections to adding it.
Oh.
So why would we do a roll call?
Okay.
So
Because
we
it's
just have
never
to
been
vote yes
voted
or no. Okay,
I
all right,
don't- I don't
then
care.
let's do a roll call vote then.
We could do a hand or roll call.
Why don't you do a
As long as
hand?
we vote.
Do a hand vote.
Okay, so by a show of hands, can everybody who, and correct me if I'm wrong,
No, just even if you're wrong, it's fine.
by a show of hands, can I see everyone who wants to add this resolution to the vote sheet? That seems like a majority. I don't think we need to take a roll call vote for that. So we've added it to the vote sheet, and now we have to take a roll call vote on it. No? Okay. So now we have to continue debate? Okay, I thought we had to vote, I thought we had to vote on this resolution right now.
We're done.
Okay, all right, so we'll vote it at the end. So we'll vote for it at the end. We'll move on. Vinny Cerrito will come and give a report on transportation. I'm sorry. I will, our
Hey everyone, I'll just be really quick. We don't really have anything to vote on tonight, but we did have EDC and DOT come to the committee meeting and gave an update on the project there. Go on our website, go to the meeting minutes. The presentation that DOT gave is on that. They did all the traffic counts and everything, so that's why they have all the base material that they'll be coming back to the committee in the new year, still figure out what month that will be, to actually present the findings and recommendations on the Chatham Square reconstruction work, as well as the opening and closing of Park Road, which we've heard a little bit tonight. But again, that DOT traffic counts, existing counts and everything are on the website. Go take a look. It's just a really good presentation and very helpful. We also had the Workers' Justice Advocacy for delivery apps came and did a nice presentation for us. Really helped us better understand some of the things that the deliveristas are dealing with out there. We are trying to, and Susan's been doing a really hard job of getting them space on Avenue A and 11th Street to give them space to actually park. We're trying to work with DOT, trying to make sure that we've got enough space on the curb for them, and also that they're places to charge, all these different things that are changing around the city for the deliveristas. Great presentation, nothing to go for. And then some loading zones that we're working with DOT on. Any questions?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that we draft a resolution from the floor to remove that bus island from Park Row because of public safety concerns. Well, we don't draft it, we don't do it from the floor anymore? Huh?
We have 5 minutes to do that.
It's gonna take a lot longer.
I think it would be better to come to the committee and do it at the committee.
Yeah.
I think that would be the appropriate way of doing it.
We could draft a resolution from the floor. We could draft a resolution from the floor.
Carlin, we have 5 minutes to draft and debate on a resolution.
We can do it.
Can you entertain rescinding your
Committee
motion?
won't be till next month, that's what my whole point. The thing is, we can draft the resolution. You have to remove that bus island from Park Row.
But it's not on the agenda.
Yeah, but I made a motion to draft the resolution.
Our
from the floor.
policies that we voted on said we don't vote on anything. It's on the website. We don't vote on anything.
We have to give the
that's not on
public a
agenda.
chance to comment on that.
All right.
The public would not know that that item was on this agenda, and they would feel like you voted on something that didn't have a discussion.
But I understood there was quite a few from the public that did speak at committee. I sat in for 1 hour on
Out
Zoom.
of respect for the people that work here, if we could take this offline, we can discuss another way to do this. Is that okay? Can you rescind your motion?
You gotta have a discussion. You gotta have the public has to have a chance to view an agenda item and attend the meeting.
I didn't say anything. I didn't say
There's a
anything.
motion on the floor. Do we want to take the motion back so we can bring this to committee and have that discussion at the appropriate time with the community?
Then our policies do not.
He moved for a resolution now, yes.
It's not on the agenda.
Got it. So in reality,
And
the
there was you
motion
seconded
really, there's the policy of the board, it's on the website, that we can't actually vote on anything when it's not on the agenda. It's on the website, so I think at that, I don't know, parliamentary, if we can keep moving. Okay.
We can't do it. We can't do it.
Are we gonna add it to next month's agenda?
Not again, you can do it in January.
January. We don't have a transportation meeting in December, so it would be January.
Let's go.
We gotta be out here at 10. 9?
That's 4 minutes.
We still have 2 other committees to go through. 3. Okay, we have to move on.
Yeah,
We
we're
have
gonna.
to move on. Damaris?
I have 3 seconds.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Damaris, Chair of Land Use, and HPD came and did a briefing on their new RFP for the site at 324 East 5th Street. You might remember that's where the NYPD parking lot is at. There was no vote necessary, but I do want to tell you that they have promised a community engagement process, and we'll be talking about ways to bring that here to make sure that everybody has a say in what gets built there. Thank you.
Trevor, yeah, thank you.
I'll be brief. We didn't have any agenda items, although EDC and DocuNYC did come to talk about modifications they will make to Pier 36, including increased security and reduction in the number of boats on the pier. Any questions?
Thank you. I forgot to mention in my chair report, I appointed Ariana as chair of the Economic Development Committee, and I'm very excited she was able to chair her first meeting.
Thank you. So as Andrea mentioned, we're restarting the Economic Development Committee, also keeping it brief. If anybody's interested in joining, please feel free to reach out to the chair. Because it's a subcommittee, we don't meet monthly, so that's a plus. We meet a little bit more irregularly, but yeah, please feel free to reach out.
Thank you. All right. With record time, we'll move on to a roll call vote on the agenda item. Thanks.
Okay, David Adams. What are you staying on? Stephen Ballinger?
Yes.
Sarah Bachu?
Yes.
Lee Berman?
Yes, except no on SLA items number 6, 12, 13, and 16.
All right, Solomon Fletcher? No on what? Tom Bowie? August Castelli? August? Yes. Thank you. Carlin Chan?
Yes, to all.
Marianne Kachuga? Vincent Cerrito?
Yes.
Eric Diaz?
Yes.
Alistair Koumakis?
Yes.
Larry Fenn?
Yes.
Tahisha Fields?
Yes, except for SLA number 12.
Naima Fafana? John Fout? Catherine Freed?
Yes and all except no on SLA 6, 12, 13, and 16.
Sean Garcia?
Abstain on exact, yes to everything else.
Ryan Gilliam? Deborah Glass?
Yes, but no on SLA 6, 12, and 13.
Charlie Goldenson?
Yes.
Andrea Gordillo?
Yes.
Herman Hewitt? Absent. Trevor Holland? Valentina Jones? Anna Kakar? Nancy Kahn?
Yes, except no on exact.
Michelle Cooper Smith?
No on exact, yes on everything else.
Diane Lake? Yes. Mei Lee?
Yes.
Michael Lavario?
No on executive.
Yes on everything else? Thank you. John Del Leal, absent. Molly Liu?
Yes.
Campbell Munn?
No on exact, yes on everything else.
Indrani Rivera?
No to SLA 6, 12, and 13.
Damaris Reyes. Jaylene Rodriguez. Richard Robiak.
No move SLA number 6. Yes, everything else, and I hope we get the election results for our officers.
Sherry Ryan, absent. Arnett Scott, sorry.
Yes, except SLA 6/12/13.
Clint Smeltzer.
Yes, no on SLA 12, 11, sorry.
Sandra Strother, absent. Daniel Tano.
Yes, no on SLA 11.
Zachary Thomas. Josephine Velez. Kathleen Webster. And Guillermo Zubiaga.
Yes, no on SLA 11.
Okay, that's it.
Okay, thank you all. Thank you all, have a great night.